Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Angie at Chicken Scratch, and this is the 4th video for the Raw Edges Square Quilt Along. Okay, so in the last video, I sewed row 2 to row 1, and so that's complete. And then behind the scenes, I went ahead and sewed row 3 to row 4, and then row 5 to row 6. So now what I'm going to do, and I'm not actually going to film that part because you've already seen all the steps, but I'm just going to tell them to you, is I'm going to sew row 3 to row 2. Where is it? Here it is. I lost my post-it note. So I'm going to sew 3 to 2 and then 5 to 4. Okay, so I'm going to do that really quick, and then I will come back and show you how to measure your quilt to determine your backing fabric and your binding fabric. And I'll show you the finished quilt, okay? Okay, so I have got all of my rows sewn together, and I'm being gentle with this because I do not want to poke myself with those pins. Okay, here's the top of the quilt. So I can now remove my post-it notes. That's row 6. And I actually saved these so I can use them again. If you look real close, you can see a few indentations in there where I've used them before, except I lost my number 3 or 2. Okay, this one's been used a lot. Okay, so let me get these out of the way. Now, what you want to do is check your seams for any holes. And it's been a while, I think, since I've had a hole in the middle of my quilt, but I will tell you I have done it a lot, especially if you sew for a while and then you leave and you come back. Things happen. So anyway, I check every single seam and make sure there's no holes. And then I also press all the seams. And now normally I press the seams, so when I sewed row 2 to row 3, I would have normally pressed the seams open before I attached row 3 to row 2. So hopefully that makes sense. But I didn't do it this time because I'm kind of in a hurry to get this wrapped up. So what I'll do now is take this to my iron and I'm going to press all of my seams. And I will starch it and give it to my long arm quilter. So I'm going to fold this up really quick. And oh, and one other thing before I fold it up is I want to trim all my extra threads. And I do that on the ends, on the little squares in here. Just get rid of all these extra threads. So I won't show you doing all of them, but I will do that to the entire quilt. And I'll probably do it on my ironing station so that way it's a little bit easier and it's flatter. Okay, I'm going to fold this up real quick and then we're going to measure it. Okay, so I think it turned out beautiful. I can't wait to see it after it's been quilted. Okay, so we're going to measure this to determine our backing fabric. Now, before we started this, I went ahead and gave you some measurements. That's based off of what my long arm quilter needs. Now that I have a mid-arm machine, I actually need more fabric than what my long arm quilter needed. So I'm probably still going to have her do this quilt because I only bought 4.5 yards, and with my mid-arm machine I need 4 3/4 because I need 8 inches on each side. Anyway, that's okay. So what I'm going to do is get the tape measure, and let's see, let me get to the other end. I always start with the wrong end. I need to put like a little ribbon down here. Okay, so we're going to measure the width first. I'm going to start here at the end and try to gracefully go across. This is really one of those quilts that you can pretty much knock out in a day. It's taken me a couple weeks to film the video, but that's just because I had a gazillion other things going on. Okay, so it almost measures 58 inches. So I'm going to measure 58 for the width. And now we're going to measure the length. I know you're probably wondering, why did I fold this up when I've got to unfold it? Okay, so at the end, almost there. It's easier standing up doing this. Okay, so 69. Where's my pen? 69. Okay, let's get out my phone real quick. Okay, I've got my iPhone here, and we're going to be opening up my Quilting Calculator by Robert Kaufman. And if you don't have an iPhone, just find a quilting calculator online, okay? So we're going to click on backing and batting. Now my long arm quilter provides the batting, so I'm going to click on that. The width of the fabric is 43 inches, so that's the standard fabric. So the width of my quilt is 58 by 69. My long arm quilter needs 2 inches for overage, so we're going to calculate this for her right now, and then we'll go back and do my measurements. So that tells me that I need 4 1/8 yards for backing. Sorry, my handwriting's awful. It's chicken scratch. And then now we're going to go back to the binding. And my long arm quilter uses 2 inches. So the width is 58. The length is 69. She does the bias binding. Calculate. And she needs a 1/2 yard for binding. So that's how I always determine it. Now, let's go back because I've just purchased a mid-arm machine and I've not used it yet. I hope to soon. So 58 by 69, I'm going to put Angie. And let's see what I need with 8 inches of overage. So 58 by 69. And the overage is going to be 8 inches. Yeah, and I need 4 3/4 yards for the backing, and the binding stays the same. Yeah, because there's no, I'm going to do the same, the 2-inch binding, so still a 1/2 yard for binding. Okay, so that wraps up this quilt along. I anticipate it's going to be a few months before I get this back. I'm going to take it to the long arm quilter and have it quilted. If you want to see what the finished product looks like, the pictures of my previous Raw Edges quilt is on my Facebook group and on my Angie Judah site. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. Have a great day. Thanks a lot. Bye.